Alright, hello all you cool cats out there! I hope you're ready to take a look at another Kitten Space Agency mod showcase. Today, we're going to be looking at something called Advanced Flight Computer. This one is made by forum user Maxi, who actually has a few other kind of flight control and QOL mods available, and someone I would like to consider a friend of mine in the community. So we're taking a look at this one. And it's pretty cool. Advanced Flight Computer adds a whole handful of neat little tools and tricks to the flight planner and maneuver node building tools that are in the game. As you can see, we're already getting a look at one of those first few options that's been added, the match inclination feature in the transfer planner. So that'll basically let you take your vehicle and, like it says, match the inclination to whatever target you pick. In this case, we are getting in line with the moon from that funky little orbit I started myself out with. Got now already to 0.05 degrees now from whatever the heck it was before. So that's pretty handy, rather than having to go and do that yourself, tinkering around. I think it's a few less button clicks to do it now via AFC. But that's not the only thing it does. It's got a handful of other tricks up its sleeve, which really start to shine when you do your typical transfer burns. So once this calculates out, you'll get a look at some new stuff, such as, you'll notice right there, multi-pass departure. So AFC adds this fun little feature where instead of doing one monolithic burn, you can divide it up into several steps of burns that let you kind of do it piecemeal rather than having one big burn. This is obviously useful for things like low thrust to weight ratio vehicles, which I kind of created with what you see right now. I tested this out before on a different vehicle with some bigger engines and made things a little trickier to work with. Noted limitation is that the plan is impulsive, but the burn is not. So on near escape departures, the apoapsis is moving pretty fast, and the periapsis has drifted, so small correction burns are to be expected. But when it works, it's pretty neat. There's also the option to set, which I believe I set here, which is the flyby periapsis. So instead of the default option in the game where you'll get targeted straight for a collision course when you do a transfer, the AFC will let you plot a sort of target periapsis around your target body. You can also define what the periapsis is set relative to, including the surface, the center, or the atmospheric boundary of whatever your target body is. You can not only pick the altitude of that periapsis, but where that periapsis will be located relative to what you're aiming for. Options include inner, towards the parent body, outer, away from it, north or south. That does have to be perpendicular to the approach, but the tool will gray out anything that it doesn't think it can handle. And there you can see a preview of a nice multi-pass burn. This one's set to 3 stages, kind of reading here what that says. And it goes up to a whopping 10 steps, if for whatever reason you needed that, but I found kind of messing around that, lower numbers are more feasible. I imagine with something like ion engines, this would be really handy, but even with the thrust weight of 0.3, I noticed that it would have some trouble. It tends to overshoot a bit, in my experience, or undershoot. It's not perfectly accurate, which is to be expected. In a sense, it is doing its best, but it allows us to take a look at another feature, which is RCS burn control. So for any maneuver, Advanced Flight Computer will allow you to define that burn as being carried out by only your RCS thrusters and not any of your main engines, which is pretty handy for really small burns, especially if you have larger thrust to weight ratio going on or powerful engines. RCS will let you kind of really fine-tune and carry those burns out on a fairly fine-tuned scale. So now that we've messed around with the moon, I thought I'd just take this thing to Saturn and mess around with some of the various moons here, play around with more of the tools. So if you're really interested in a more detailed breakdown on every little feature that this mod can do, for every little option that you can configure, do check out the forum thread. It will be linked below. Maxi does some great work with these mods, so why don't you go send him some love? I'm sure it'll be well appreciated. Advanced Flight Computer is currently on version 0.6.0 and is compatible with KSA version 5168. So that's about all we've got. If you have any ideas for what's going to make Advanced Flight Computer even better in the future, and I hope it does because it's a pretty neat mod, let me know, or let Maxi know on the forums. I do hope we continue to see this one get updated because it's pretty neat. Or maybe even some of this integrated into the base game. I can see that happening as well. Some of these features I can see becoming pretty stock standard. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching and learning, and I will see you again next time.